Welcome to another episode of YouTube where we had some significant snowfall. It's not our first snowfall. Working for Wolves Crew to get snowed on while they were here, but this is snowfall that stayed, and so we're starting to see obviously a pile of snow that's going to be here for the rest of the winter. And we are using a new video camera, so we're kind of experimenting with a couple of options and just trying to see how things are. So you might see a little bit of choppiness. We're right now using a video camera that downloads to an SD card, and we'll need to upgrade an SD card. I think the video is not very smooth here, but just bear with us. We'll get this squared away. And the big topic, I think, of this week is how are Grizzer and Denali getting along. And this is Denali here, obviously watchful of Grizzer and trying to see where he is. Things are quite improved, actually. We're seeing Denali maybe starting to do a little acceptance of Grizzer as being dominant, although he's still wary. And you can see here he's watchful. He's got a T3.5 tail, and later on he'll show a T4 or tuck tail. But he's whining, and he's wanting to socially engage. And several times this week when I've come to the center, he's been down with the other three wolves wanting to interact. Grizzer has actually calmed down quite a bit, too. He's not as focused on Denali. He's watchful. He will follow, and which makes Denali nervous, and it starts to get Denali into a little bit of a chase scene. But the reality is that Grizzer's not really pushing the issue much, and so if Denali can just figure out that the best way to respond is to be submissive, things will be fine. One other thing we have noticed, and people observed this week, is Grizzer was observed actually blocking Maya from Aiden, and that block was when Maya was going after Aiden. Grizzer did stop Maya from interacting. And that's been obviously something that Aiden's been probably involved with from the standpoint of associative behavior with Grizzer. Aiden has been seen licking him, greeting him, foreleg stabbing him. They do sleep together, so I think Aiden's got an alliance with Grizzer, and actually may have been why he stopped Maya from going after Aiden. But again, Denali here is coming up, wanting to engage, tail wagging, wanting to be part of the pack. And just a little hesitant yet, so I think psychologically he's going to figure it out. One thing that we're doing for Wolf Care is we're trying to make everybody as comfortable as possible, and that means as many straw beds as we can, and certainly putting multiple areas for the wolves to lay. Of course, wolves' straw beds get marked by wolves, and that's what Maya's doing here. But the more opportunities we have for the wolves to bed down, the better off things will be from the standpoint of getting along. And yesterday we did observe Grizzer on top of the den, Maya right behind him, and Denali about 5 feet away laying with them. And so that makes it a little bit more comfortable, and certainly when they're feeling more comfortable, they're not likely to be as tense. Now, a little bit of the shakiness of the camera, this has nothing to do with the SD card. That's Aiden pushing on the camera while we're filming there. Aiden is, again, still using the front of the enclosure, the rocks in the front, to be able to seek some comfort. And we are seeing, as soon as Maya goes away, he comes right back to Wolf Care staff and gets greeted. He is actually getting a little massage here while the filming's going on. So Aiden, again, getting a little bit of a respite from some dominance from Maya because, again, Grizzer's focused on Denali a little bit, and Grizzer's also blocking Maya, so that's making him a little bit more comfortable. We're seeing a good winter coat on Aiden this winter. In previous winters, he's been a little bit thin-coated, but you can see here his guard hairs are very thick, and he's doing very well. The other thing to notice is his ear postures. They change significantly throughout a course of watching him for a minute. Primarily ears pricked and turned sideways, meaning he's alert, but he's a little bit tense. And that is probably because he's not certain where Maya is and what Maya's going to do. And here's Maya coming down, and that just brings Aiden back to the rocks. That's kind of his safety zone there. We did put some straw under the eaves a couple of days ago so that he, if he needs to get away from them, he can. This clip is a howling clip, and certainly we saw some significant howling from Shadow in the past couple of weeks since this has started, and that howling from Shadow has gotten the pack a little bit excitable. But what's noticeable here is Denali is right down with Maya and Grizzer and trying to howl with them, and actually does howl with them, as well as Aiden howling with them, and that's a really good sign that things are going well. So I'll let you listen to the howling here. Aiden does a little excitable scrape, wants to engage, knows that howling can lead to a little dominance, so may back off a little bit. As you can see, Denali did howl, and he also didn't run away afterwards. So that's a much greater improvement than we saw last week. And that means that Grizzer's not as concerned about him. Again, probably this whining and a little bit of tail wagging social behavior is really what Grizzer was looking for, and certainly something that we're hoping will continue. Over in retirement, again, new straw is a real priority for older animals, and typically new straw gets some marking. So there isn't too much to report over here. Things have been calm. As we said last week, Shadows gained some weight, feeding out quite a bit of deer, and keeping them warm. That's our priority in retirement, keeping them fed and warm. And we are seeing a little bit of interest in Malik's face. There's a little bit of a dark spot at that abscess tooth, and did see him rubbing up against a branch earlier today, but so far things look good. So that's about it from retirement, and I hope all is well. Thanks again.